Why don't we get started? 6:38. We'll call the meeting to order. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Wow.
This is exciting.
Yeah, we don't often get this like kind of crowd, so we got to sort of take it in. Yeah, exactly. So we'll move things around a little bit. We are going to do public input and then student report first, and then we will go on to some of the recognitions and get things, the more interesting stuff going. So public input, anybody? Yes. Again, a rarity, so we're gonna love this.
Just pass the mic.
Yeah.
That's for NORCAM.
Thank you. It's Kate Mann.
That's for, if you,
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
The mic's for the TV, so just speak up. You won't hear the
Nope.
mic in the room.
It's Kate Manupelli from Valley Road. I'm one of the singers' moms, so full disclosure. I actually just came here to say thank you. I have a senior singer, and I wanted to, number one, thank the community for all the support and fundraising effort that they've given this team. They have given them so much support and gotten them to 2 years in a row to New York. I also want to thank all the parents and community members that have rallied around them every time they've done any of the events. I especially want to thank the performing arts team. We're sitting here, Mrs. Lister, she's been an instrumental influence on them. Mr. Owens, Mr. Tatro, Mrs. Kane. I'll be quick, Michael. But it needs to be said. These thank yous need to be said. Mrs. Lento, everyone from Mr. Owens, Mr. Tatro, all the way down. These kids, a lot of them have been together since elementary school. And the performing arts department has been such a massive influence on them. And how you can tell is a number of these seniors are graduating, going into media and performing arts degree programs. So this has let their passion evolve into what will probably be their profession, and they will be contributing members to cultural arts, and humanity needs cultural arts. Which leads me to my biggest thank you to Dr. Daly and the school committee. I will never forget how you rallied during COVID. I was on the select board back then. We didn't have a playbook back then. Everybody was pivoting. The school committee was so instrumental, but Dr. Daly was specifically instrumental in keeping the arts programs alive for these kids, and it was a real lifeline for them during that time of uncertainty. So this is an amazing program that's been fostered by so many people in the community, so many community officials, definitely Dr. Daly. So it just, I cannot say enough thank you to you. It's generated an amazing group of kids. This adventure has been a blast for me as a parent, and I'm just wishing all of you guys much success. I know I'm going to see you in the future in some form or other in the arts, and I just wanted to say thank you for that.
anyone else? Okay. Why don't we go on to the student report? Miss Nickerson, why don't you take it away?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So not much is happening. It's the end of the year. Things are kind of quieting down. So for academic matters, we just have that Q4 grades close on Wednesday. It's the last day of school. So, and then finals begin on Wednesday, and that's our E and F blocks. And then it'll just switch off. And all the finals days, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, those are all half days. So really, it's like our last full day of school tomorrow. So that's exciting. There's not much for Fine Arts Matters other than the band played at graduation, and then the chorus sang as well. And then the seniors got to be a part of that too, which was pretty cool. And then for athletics, all sports are done by now. And then the boys and girls tennis teams both made it to the second round, as well as baseball and softball. And then girls track won the Cal and state championships. And then lastly, the seniors are all done with North Reading. Obviously, graduation was last week. And then their last week of classes was the week before that. And then they have their senior week, which is fun. And then for next week, the SLAM mentors are going to help out with the middle school legacy day by kind of just giving them space to ask questions about specific things about high school before orientation in the summer. And then lastly, next Tuesday is the 5th grade graduation for the elementary schools. So yeah, and then for my student work report, I have my anatomy dissection. So I had the sheep's pluck, which is like the lungs and like trachea of a sheep. So it was really cool.
Thank you for not bringing in an example.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Dr.
Talked
Daly
about
about that. I could bring in my own sheep, but I chose not to.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it was really cool. We got to like cut open the lung and like, I don't know, I've obviously never cut open a lung before, so it was pretty cool. And then the other people in my group had a heart. So you could see like the size and like all the different things. So this was a really cool project because I feel like it actually like showed us the relevance of everything we're learning in class instead of just like pictures. You got to like touch it and like see it. So it was really cool. It was really fun too.
Does this mean like medical future for you or science future?
I want to do like dietetics, so like nutrition. So similar, but I don't want to be cutting open people.
Or sheep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah. Thank you.
What other interests do you have? This is our opportunity to torture you for 2 minutes. So.
Okay. Other interests like for the future or just like generally?
Whatever. Whatever you wanna answer.
Well, I like to do the play, which yeah, all in the
Great.
back. Yeah, so I do that in the fall. I just finished up my track season, so I did distance. I did a lot of running. And then, yes, lots of school. So finally I
All
get to
good.
have hobbies again. It's really exciting.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome to the end of the year, and
Yes.
we hope to see you more for your senior year.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
Have a great summer.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You can stay if you want, but you're more than welcome to go.
Study for finals.
I know, right? Okay.
Thank
job.
you.
Yeah, so it's our opportunity to torture whoever's there for like 2 minutes. So. Okay, why don't we get on to continue business? There isn't any, so new business. We'd love an opportunity to recognize our great a cappella team, our a cappella group, not team, just for a couple minutes. Dr. Daly, do you want to start us off, or I'm happy to?
Sure, if you'd like me to, or would you?
Well,
wanna steal your
I'd actually like to say a couple words, if you don't mind. With a daughter that's very much into singing and a cappella at a younger level, I will say, in addition to the words that were already spoken, it's more than just what the influence you will have in the future. You've already had an influence. I mean, I can tell you personally, my daughter idolizes you. I mean, just absolutely, and with good reason. She follows what you do. She follows the awards that you've gotten, and it has already influenced your path. So I will say personally, as a parent, thank you to all of you, and to those of you who have worked with the chorus, and I'm Vasiliki, thank you, who work with the chorus and who mentor them personally. It's amazing the influence you've already had. So even if you don't go into a music career, even if you do nothing else, your influence has already been felt. And for that, I just can't thank you enough. So congratulations on your success, and thank you for all you've done. Yeah, I'm supposed to ask you whether you want to sing now or not. I don't know whether, no, probably not. No?
Every single member of our group is so important, and unfortunately, we don't have a full team with us.
That's fine. I kind of assumed that would be, the case, so this wasn't a pressure thing. Mark it down that they didn't want to, no.
Anyone else?
Anyone else want to share? Yeah. Feel free.
So just take a moment to recognize you guys, and it's everything that you do, not just this year, but every year that you've been a part of this program. It's every how proud we are of every opportunity we have when you come out and sing, whether it's here when you're presenting, whether it's during a show, whether it's to my dad at Shaw's in Melrose. Probably you guys weren't there, but that was a few years ago. It's pretty cool. Totally random. But just the pleasure we've had and the pride that I was able to see in all of your faces to make it to, to every step, to make it to finals, to make it to international levels. The furthest, not only that North Reading has been, but that anyone from the Northeast has ever been in this a cappella tournament. For you guys to go that far, to be number 2 in the nation, it's just absolutely incredible. So we will celebrate and we will recognize you in a permanent way with some kind of signage, banners, those type of things. We're going to keep talking about what those look like for you, because your achievement is right up there with all of the achievements that we've ever had, state titles and championships, and you should be so proud. We will never forget you and what you've done, and you've brought joy to so many people. And I had the pleasure of getting to see you in New York on Broadway. Even if that's all you ever experienced, you guys played on Broadway. Like, how cool is that, right? But number 2 in the nation, to take that home. When we won the first awards, I was like, oh, that's awesome, that's amazing. And then when they got to you guys next, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was with Mrs. Kane, and she was just jumping for joy so high. It was amazing. But thank you all so much for all you do, and what an amazing achievement. So let's just give a round of applause to our amazing group. So,
Yeah, beyond that, I just don't know what else to say other than we really do appreciate all of your hard work and all of the achievement that you've brought to the school, or all the accomplishments you've brought to the school. It's just an amazing achievement. And speaking on behalf of the entire board, and Tim has expressed the same thing, we just can't thank you enough. Thank you.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
And they're also welcome to stay all night.
Yeah, no,
But they also can go if they need to.
a lot of interesting stuff coming up.
Thank you all.
All right. Really wanted them to sing. So does
Everybody.
You just want to sing with them.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Sound like a Muppet. Okay, on to our regularly scheduled programming. We'd like at this time, we do this every year, and very much want to recognize the staff that's retiring for all the work that they've done through the years and all the students that they've influenced. Before we get on to actually recognizing them, I was thinking about, in one of the teachers specifically, but just thinking about, well, how many students do any one of you actually influence over the course of a career? And just thinking, doing some semi-simple math, I mean, you're talking over 600 students per person. Per person. Think about the numbers just for a minute, at least that number. Assume 30 years, 20 students per year. My math is even remotely right. And it's just amazing the level of influence. That doesn't even get to the depth of influence that you all have. It's just, I consider myself, I wish I was a lifelong student. I loved school. I loved it all the way through, even through difficult years. I can speak firsthand that the influence of a teacher, much less lots of teachers, can greatly impact the course of any life. And you have done so for the course of your careers. And I know we're going to get into thanking everyone individually, but I just wanted to start off by saying this isn't just a pro forma thing we do every year. It really is heartfelt, that we very much appreciate the work you've done through the course of your careers. And it is well deserved that you're going to be retiring at this point. So thank you. We'll get on to specifics now, but thank you very much for all the hard work you've put in. So why don't we get on
Thank you. So I'm going to share a few thoughts, a little bit of information about folks. I hope you don't mind. I will refer to your years of service. I'm going to share the list, the full list, and then those that are here can come down. We have a small token of our appreciation. This is a great tradition that we've started and we've been doing for a few years now, and I think it's just a great time to stop and to celebrate and just recognize the importance that all of you bring to our district. Sean Colleen is included now as a part of our mentor program, an opportunity for retirees to speak there as well and offer pearls of wisdom to our new teachers, which I think is just a perfect touch. So we were able to hear from some of you a few weeks ago. But I just want to take a moment with you here tonight to recognize you in front of the whole community. So start with Beth Brown. Beth is currently a grade 2 teacher. She's been in the district for 30 years. I've worked personally with Beth when I was in my role as a curriculum leader. She was a math leader, I think the entire time that I've been here. So in addition to all the time that and this goes for many of the folks in the room, in the classroom, she's also giving back to the whole district and the staff. Helped us organize and go through a lot of our math programs. Probably, I don't know where it is now, but at the time it was the most arduous pilot process we ever did. Probably still stands that way, but I know some of us worked through that. And Beth, it's been a pleasure to work with you, and I really thank you for your 30 years of service. So come on down. Next person on the list who's not here, I need to recognize. Sure.
We're not getting our picture taken.
I don't. If anyone is here and I miss you, but Carlinos is here. Carl served our district first shift's custodian, 40 years in our district. Wow. Everyone says about Carl, he is just a great guy and just a great cleaner. Like a very simple, but he just does his job so well. And that's what I said to him when I saw him the other day. And he said his mother instilled that in him, and his mother worked here for many years as well in our district. So let's just give a round of applause for Carl. Where's Michelle? Is she here? No? Michelle Fitzpatrick, special education teacher from the high school, 13 years of service. Another incredible teacher and teacher leader, Heidi Hogan. She's been with us for 32 years. Heidi was also a math leader when I started with her, and she switched over to ELA leader, data leader. She's done so many amazing things for our district, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with her in so many different capacities over the years. So, Heidi Hogan. So Heidi was a parent in the district, and she's reminded me that when I was here as a vice principal, we started, and I made a couple of calls home. The kids are all doing fantastic. How old is Derek now? How old is he? How old is Derek now? 29. That makes me feel right at home. Fantastic kids, though. No, thank you so much for all your service. Catherine Jones not able to be here tonight. 31 and a half years of service at the middle school, social studies and leadership. Next person I had the pleasure of actually supervising for several years, worked with him as an art leader, and also got to visit his classroom many years over the time. Some of the coolest classes that I wish I was able to take. Every time I went down there, I would love to have been involved. Brett, 32 and a half years of service in our district. Is it actually more? No? No, it's 33 Congratulations. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you, sir.
used to.
Next, Hood School, teacher, currently grade 2. Maybe here longer than Mr. Colleen as well. I think you guys were talking about that the other day, right? They both worked for many years together. But that's Lori McGrath, grade 2 teacher. Come on down. Lori, it's always a pleasure visiting your classroom and hearing all the great things that are going on. And kids are just so happy to have you as their teacher every year. So thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Brian McCarthy is not able to be here tonight, I don't believe. 25 and a half years in the district at the high school. Mr. Paul Polito, custodian second shift, 16 years in the district. Is Paul here? Thank you to Paul. Carly Ronan, I'm not sure if she's here. She retired after 4 years as a teacher of special education in North Reading. Thank you, Carly. So next, we have a paraprofessional at the high school. One of our favorite classrooms to visit, and one of the people that's just, I think every time I visit your room, you've got such a great big smile on your face, bringing such joy to us and to all the children that you work with. That's Kim Spina, 25 years at the high school. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. It's been great, thank you.
Next person is, so as was mentioned earlier, I started at the middle school. And this is one of the people that, I don't know if she was on the interview committee, but early on, she's one of the few people that, probably the only person I think that's ever invited me out on a Friday afternoon. I went once, and we went out, but it was great, and she really made me feel welcome here. She's been a tremendous teacher, taught so well. I have so much respect for her, and in the last few years, she's also been a teacher leader at the district. That's Kathy Tremblay. 34 years. You probably don't remember that, huh? Jimmy Tremblay, 28 years as a custodian in the district. If you're keeping count, we're getting close to 300 years of service here, guys. Next teacher is a teacher at the Hood School who I believe started as a paraprofessional. Am I correct? No? Am I wrong? Oh, I'm right. Okay. So I remember
At the middle school, 4 years before that.
at the middle school as well. Amazing. Works now, currently is, in my mind, taught grade 1 for quite some time. Grade 3 at the Hood School. Anne Maria Wright, 23 years total service. So thank you.
No.
And with Blaine Evans graduating, there is a vacancy for some more photography in the district. So if there's, is Linda here? Not sure if Linda's here, but after 25 years in the district, Linda Zullo is, Linda may be in Italy. After 25 years in the district, Linda Zullo is retiring as a paraprofessional. So thank you, Linda. We segue into our next. Is there anyone that I missed, by any chance? All right.
Yeah, now we'd like to pay special recognition to to Dr. O'Connell, who is going to be leaving us for different pastures, who we very much want to recognize for her service. Again, I can speak from personal experience. It's been a pleasure knowing you, and it's absolutely been a pleasure having you lead the school where my child happens to be right now. It's very much appreciated. And I know there are others that want to speak here too. So I will let Dr. Daly speak, but I don't know if others here want to as well. Yeah, please.
Sure, I can't even see.
I know, I
I'm
can't
sorry.
see.
We're
She's over
over
there
here. No, thank you. I now have a child in middle school, and it's so appreciative. And I know that we've only been in your school for 1 year, but thank you for consistently and continuously listening to me and my concerns and my ideas, and really being receptive. And we really appreciate that. So I wish you the best. Thank you.
I just, I guess I have one middle schooler now too. I think I have one that's already in high school. Somehow that's shocking. But from a school committee perspective, just being able to interact with you and professionally, and your preparedness and your professionalism and your compassion, especially with some of the work you do with the restorative practices and things, I think Gloucester's going to be really lucky to have you. And you've always been so responsive and great. And we're certainly going to miss you. So thank you.
I'd like to jump in too. I've had the opportunity to work with you the past couple of years on various committees, but what you've done with the outdoor committee has been incredible. And it's not just that it happened, but it was the way you recognized the talents in the group, from the teachers, the family members, and really had a way of bringing everyone together and walking us through together to figure out strategies. So it's not like you came in and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. You're like, here's the vision. How can we work as a team to make it happen? And it was brilliant. And it really showed in the faces. I know the presentations later, but of the children that came out, and seeing them skip out and be happy and be with each other. So thank you again for your style of leadership. Really appreciate it. We'll miss you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I know there's some other people here that want to say a few things. I know Rich specifically. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you use the?
Sure. Rich McGowan, 46 Chestnut Street. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I couldn't not be here. Ms. Elkins, what you said echoes very much the kinds of things I'm going to say, except I'm going to refer back to 2011 or 12, somewhere in there, when I was first joined the school council at the middle school, but then Dr. O'Connell, as the new building was approaching coming online, wanted to take a very ambitious look at how things were done in the middle school. And so she convened a rather large group of educators, parents, community members, and we, in an effort that she called Middle School 2.0. I think we're probably on Middle School 5.0 now, because of the constant change that you see and the things that need to be changed. But it was such an impressive effort of bringing people together, exposing, those of us who are parents and community members, really being exposed to pedagogy and the sort of the practical necessities of the work we were doing, rejiggering schedules, but also rejiggering just the way the school was thought of and how the academics were thought of. Obviously not in terms of choosing what the academics were, but just how the whole thing worked. It was such an impressive effort. And I can say that since then, there's been so many things, right? Coming to this new building, when you're in a combined building with the high school, the amount of collaboration you need to do with the high school principal and the administration, I mean, it just adds a layer of complexity than if you're in a separate building. Of course, COVID, we all went through COVID. For those who don't know, I was on the school committee in those years. One of the great joys of being on a school committee, and I think you guys would probably agree, is when students come to present and educators come to present, and those were always great, great efforts. Your embrace of data and using data in all the right ways, and really using data to find where students need help, I think was a wonderful thing to see. And I think the last thing that I remember is the implementation of improved world languages, working with Dr. Daly and Mr. Connolly to try to improve, to add those things. That was a tremendous effort on everyone's part. And all the way up until the end into an outdoor program. And as a parent, as a school committee member, as a community member in this town, I think that service, it deserves to be acknowledged. So thank you very much.
So I wasn't prepared to speak, so I'm going to keep this brief, but I just want to thank you for making so many of your students and families feel safe, seen, and supported, and through really challenging times through the pandemic. I admire your courage to acknowledge and talk through difficult topics and conversations, your willingness to listen, learn, and create effective changes that are still in place today. And you worked side by side with us as families. You worked so closely with students. You created student leadership opportunities that I know my own child has really grown through. And I could say so many other things, but I just want to thank you so much for all you've done.
Very fortunate, very blessed, very lucky, and I still will, I'll keep my hornet gear, so.
We have a small token. So we got, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Morgan Soris, our human resources, who helped pick out all these gifts. And her thought was, what better to give you as you're moving on, not retiring, going to a new position, but a plant for your new office.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I thought that
Thank
was a great
you.
idea.
That is a great idea.
Yeah. Picture that.
Thanks, Joe.
Kathy, I just have to say one word. So just, when we went through looking for our new, middle school principal, for those that understand, we talked a lot about at the time about, not having a junior high school, but really having a middle school, finding that next principal who is going to take us forward. Your name is imprinted on this building, on the plaques. You built this school. Your kids went through this school. You've done so much. It's been a pleasure working with you for 15 years, for watching us grow as we went through our doctoral programs. Now we get to adjunct together, and I look forward to continuing to work with you in your new role. You're going to do fantastic things. Thanks for making us proud, and keep making us proud. Thank you, Kathy.
Excellent. So
this is way better than budget stuff.
I know.
This is fun.
First we had to get
into it in many years.
First we had to get through town meeting, then to it. So with that, we would like to introduce the new principal for our middle school.
No pressure.
Pardon?
No pressure.
Thank you. Sarah, would you just like to? Sure. So Sarah is our principal that we've been through. Sarah Ogier is, we're very excited to introduce as the new principal of North Reading Middle School. We went through, as always, a very thorough process. We had several interviews. We had 2 of our school committee members who were part of that group. Sarah just, the moment she came in, we really felt something that she was going to bring to the table that's going to carry the great direction that Kathy's been leading us, and then also to bring in some of her own unique responsibilities and ideas. And I've already shared some of her attendance ideas with the high school because Sarah's coming from high school, so I'm really excited with where they're going to work as a team in our shared building. So I'm very happy to introduce her to you tonight. And I'm not sure if Sarah, if you wanted to say just a couple words.
So hi everyone, I'm Sarah Ogier. I'm honored to be selected starting is an incredible community. I am a community member here, so I'm really excited to be part of the school community here, and I'm just eager to get started. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just had 2 requests for photo, one, a group photo of all the retirees, and then one of the 2 new principals, the 2 principals together. Was a request that we had. We just take a brief.
Yeah, why don't we take
photo?
a 5-minute leave to take
Just a quick,
pictures?
if you don't mind, a quick photo with all the retirees together, and then the
No,
two,
not
the incoming.
We don't have to be in it, right?
No. Plenty of people have my picture now.
Okay.
It's really fun.
Oh my gosh. But you know what? You looked great. You were very professional.
Yeah, we won't be doing
You can come right down here at the school committee. You want to? No? Okay.
They don't need us.
Yeah, they don't need us.
No, you're with
here.
Dr. Daly.
Do you guys want to be in front? We'll move?
Yeah, we'll move.
I'll move.
Right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Mr. Dave, Dr. Dave, just hang on. He's coming with his gear, okay?
Okay.
We actually wanted, I actually wanted 3, because of the size of the group, like 3 or 4 per retiree per photo. Okay, instead of the 15 or the 12.
There's only about.
There's 7.
There's 7 of it?
Why
Okay.
don't we stand together?
Okay, then I can do it. Okay, so there's only 7 of the retirees right here. Yeah. Get all of them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go up that.
Ready?
Oh, really?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Now I like.
Let's do that. Why don't we do that? I think you guys are set. If you want to take anything else, you. Thank you all. Thank you very much. And where's Michael? Do you want to grab one of the principals?
yeah.
Kathy?
Yes. Yep. Is Kathy probably there? She's right there. Oh my gosh, really?
Her neighbor, colleague, my wife. Parties there.
All right. Okay.
No, there's
You sure?
Wait, I thought you wanted.
They're gonna take.
Oh.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Patty.
You don't need me on that. You want me on that?
Yes, I think so.
Wait, we're not sitting.
We're not sitting?
Well, they're gonna take one more.
I mean, we should be good bad to be standing.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
like towards the end of the night, you're like, I need to stand up.
We'll keep it warm.
Oh, yeah.
There's gotta be a better background.
Come in for us. Maybe it's like official. Have it look like a seal or something. If it doesn't matter. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we're good. Congratulations. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just figured we'd do that time.
No, it's fine. Am I in the right seat? Yes, I am.
We've got 47 other things on the agenda.
Yeah. So, I don't.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. See you later.
I know.
Oh, I know.
I ran all the way.
All right, why don't we get back to, again, regularly scheduled programming? Why don't we move on to the CPAC presentation? Would you prefer us, come on up. Would you prefer us to sit there? Do you want to, how do you want to do this?
Move so we can see it.
Yeah, why don't, like, either way, I can
moving?
see it.
We can sit here, if that's easier.
Whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
Oh, I like.
However
Oh,
you
do
feel
we have
comfortable,
it?
we're
We have
good.
it. Do we have it?
Yeah, it's in the
We have
packet.
it.
Okay. I just like to read. Oh, yeah, here it is.
For those of you in the audience, we can see it on our screens. We're not just ignoring what's behind us. Yeah, feel free.
Thank you. So we're here to represent the CPAC, the Special Ed Parent Advisory Council, just to give you an idea of what we did this year and what we're looking forward to. So our first slide is just our agenda. Interesting note that I didn't note here, but you know, one of the things we've been talking about is how to incorporate accessibility into everybody's daily lives. And one of the things I've learned in the last day and didn't have time to change the presentation, agenda is in all capitals. And that is not always read by auto readers for people with visual impairments or certain disabilities as the word agenda. It might spell out AGENDA, or it can be difficult for folks with dyslexia to read things that are in all caps. So one of the things that I think CPAC is trying to do is just inform, share, create more general information in the public about accessibility. So I just thought I'd make that note. That was not actually part of the presentation.
No, that was great, actually. No, that was great.
So on the next page, we've just listed the statute that explains that each school district should have a CPAC and sort of some of what we're supposed to do and working with the district. And we've had a really collaborative relationship with the district this year. Cynthia Conant, who is online as well, and us have had pretty much monthly meetings, and we're frequently in touch. So it's been really good to work with the district in trying to reach more families and just do what we can to support the district. To that end, on the next slide, there are some of the things we did this year. We did a bunch of meet and greets to try and meet more families. We were at Apothecary Ales 3 times, which was great. Those were really great events just for people to come and sit and chat and be together and meet each other. We did a couple of webinars. One of them was collaborative with the district. That was a school counselor presentation. And we did a BSEA mediation and facilitation webinar that was offered by the BSEA. That was really helpful. And then we've done a few things in the community. One of the things that I've found really great was our collaboration with the Commission on Disabilities and the Human Rights Group for a book club. And so we've done 2 of those already, and we'll do a 3rd in a few more months. I think next slide is, what, do you want to speak to? This was me too. All right, sorry. We were doing some faculty outreach, and all of the principals were able to include this slide in a faculty presentation, just trying to connect with faculty and staff, trying to get some of the information from them on how can we be more helpful. And we were also fortunate enough to be able to go to the Hood School to a faculty meeting. I don't know if Dr. McKay's still here. Yes. And that was really great to be able to get some FaceTime with some faculty and staff and get some feedback. It was really a lot of very good information. And then the next, that's me. Oh, you got yours.
think this one works. So in January, one thing that we endeavored to do was to get more of kind of a bird's eye view of what the special ed experience was like within the district, because obviously you hear pockets of things here and there. You don't know if that's necessarily representative of, the overall experience. So we created this survey, to see what that caregiver experience was really like working with North Reading Special Education. And we got a total responses, about 18% of students with IEPs. We heard from their families. I believe that was 90 parents approximately 66 parents representing about 90 students across the district. So it was a nice chunk of folks who responded to that. The responses showed a desire for increased education for families. When families are first introduced to this process, there's a lot of acronyms flying at them. There's a lot of terminology, and we thought that it would be really helpful, as several other districts locally have done, is to post some sort of kind of glossary of terms, just kind of a quick cheat sheet, so to speak, of what families can kind of expect and what do these terms mean, where could they find additional information. So that was something that really helpful that came out of that survey. There was a lot of praise for special education teachers, folks who'd gone above and beyond for kids with all sorts of diverse learning needs. So that was very prominent in the survey as well. And then there were some noted inconsistencies with general education classroom execution of IEPs, or perceived inconsistencies with the execution of these IEPs. And we thought that perhaps that just speaks to maybe an area of opportunity for a little more PD in special ed. I know when I started out in general ed classroom down in New Jersey, that was not a huge part of my training, and it was something that I hungered for initially as an educator, and have subsequently, through the process of being a parent of a special education student, it's been a crash course for me, certainly. So I think we agreed on that.
Yeah, can I make
Sure.
one other, and inconsistencies means that there's some really incredible general education teachers out there as well, who we're thinking could maybe figure out some best practices to share with perhaps some newer teachers that don't have as much experience.
Yeah. And then we asked a question about what the caregiver advice would be to other families going through this process. And predictably, they said, make sure you're advocating for your child. That would be the case in any realm of education or any realm of the world. Get educated on special education laws and on families' legal rights. That sea is vast and it's deep, and it takes a lot to kind of get your footing in. So there was recommendations for a little bit more education or self-education in that regard. Being organized, the district sends out a lot of paperwork. I'm not organized myself at home. Those papers are all over the place, but that was something the parents, make sure you're filing that, you're dating that, you're keeping track of that information, because there's a lot of helpful stuff there. Document information shared in meetings. Again, those IEP meetings go by in a flash. It's an hour. Again, a lot of terms coming at you, a lot of information being discussed. You always have the opportunity as families to really digest that information. So just make sure that someone is there documenting it. Ask a lot of questions. And lastly, if things get sticky, obtaining an advocate or a legal assistance can be helpful as a last resort when things just aren't working out and families are still feeling a little bit like they need a little more advocate, another person in their corner.
And of course, ask CPAC for help all the time. But just before we leave that slide, I was going to ask Ms. Conan if she could speak to what the district is doing in terms of developing that intro to special ed guide.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to elicit all the feedback from families. I think, having been in my position since 2015, I've had, an opportunity to kind of see over time how we have grown with compliance and certainly objective data points related to the Department of Ed. However, this type of data is just as important, and on some level, it's even more important because it speaks to trust. And how are we doing with trust with families? And this data really kind of helped us to understand how a resource guide can really kind of bring some clarity to families. To the point about the acronyms, I think sometimes we're so comfortable in education using these acronyms that we need to slow down and remember that it's not common for everybody else sitting at the table. And I think that it's been really helpful having had the opportunity to go through this data together with both Mira and Karen, and just really being able to ask, some additional questions about some of the data. And then we started working on our special education guide for families, and it's really kind of taken off, and it's a little bit longer than just a one-pager, and we're really trying to capture a lot of some of the pieces that came through in this data. So just for example, the resource guide is not intended to replace your basic rights at every single team meeting. That's where you really get a sense of the laws, the regulations. This guide is more specific to North Reading. So in North Reading, when you come for your child's annual review meeting, who's going to be facilitating that meeting? It's different than the person who's going to be facilitating your reevaluation team meeting. So we're really looking at how we in North Reading implement the regulations and try and take some of those questions away at the beginning so that families can really come to the table prepared with just some knowledge about the district and how we implement the regulations. And even to the point of North Reading doesn't write the regulations, the state does. We are required to implement. How do we implement? So I really appreciate the time and energy that CPAC members and leaders have taken to share this with us, go through it with us, and every step along the way with the document that we're creating, I've been able to receive feedback and just sort of saying, is the language clear? Can you read this and does it make sense? So it's been a lot of collaboration, and I'm excited, and our goal is to have our North Reading Special Education Guide posted to the website this summer. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you.
I
think you're next. Still me. I'm questioning.
Either one.
I keep trying to pass off. And our plans for next year, continued community engagement. I just paid the deposit for Town Day. We'll be at National Night Out. We'll keep doing the book club, as I mentioned. And a lot of continued caregiver outreach. We really feel like that is a place where we are able to serve the community best, is to be an ear for a lot of families, be a resource to help interpret some of those acronyms and things. A few more webinars, probably, not sure which ones yet. And we're curious what else the community would like to see. And
Before I answer questions,
Yeah.
the question you just asked of us, do you mind if we?
Yeah, no, we're set, please.
So when could parents come to see you? Like when could someone join? My guess is it's not like an official ceremony and a secret handshake. No,
but that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So we always have open enrollment. I mean, there's a North Reading CPAC email address. There's a web page. Mira's constantly monitoring that kind of stuff. If a parent is struggling over the summer and approaching a new school year and not sure if they have the right services for their kid, or just have some questions that they may not be necessarily comfortable asking of the school, that's kind of the role we've made ourselves, is just being another parent ear and maybe a voice of some experience that can help another parent and guide them as they're going through the process.
And that's the piece I actually want to re-emphasize to everybody. To a parent that might be going through a new or difficult process, this isn't easy. This is, I'm not speaking, I'm speaking indirectly from experience, from stories my wife has told me in working through some of this, that to any parent out there, you are not alone. You may feel alone, you are not alone. There are resources. And whether you can reach out to me and I will refer you to people, or reach out to CPAC directly. you are not alone in this process. And I will go slightly a step further and work against my own interest and say, if ever you need to seek counsel, always seek counsel. I will unabashedly say I'm an attorney. I will always say that, although I don't work in this area, so I can't help you there. But do what you need to do to get the advice you need to feel as though you are getting not just the advice, but the guidance you need, no matter what it is. It's not just about an adversarial position. It's about just understanding where things are in the process. So,
And just to piggyback on that, I would say we also don't want parents to think just because my child doesn't have a IEP or a 504 or some sort of plan like that we can't be a resource for them as well. There's many different qualifying scenarios where your child just might be struggling in a school scenario. It might be depression, it might be anxiety, it might be dyslexia or autism. You know, we run the gamut here. What we see as our role is just trying to help families navigate the process a little bit better and being interpreter sometimes, but also being able to relay to the school system some of the things that we're hearing and some of the things that people are struggling with, and trying to make that pathway a little bit clearer.
thank you.
And I think just to add on to that, trying to normalize these conversations a bit. I think these can be really difficult conversations for a lot of people. Either they're maybe struggling with a diagnosis that's just hit their family or not, or struggling with a situation. And I think the more we talk about it and the more we let our resources be known as available, the better for everybody.
Agreed.
I just want to say, first of all, congratulations. I think you've done such an incredible job. And since I joined school committee 4 years ago, I've seen CPAC evolve in such a positive direction. I think what you're doing in terms of you're connecting with people on multiple levels. I love the fireside chats. I love the meetings at Apothecary Ales. Sorry, I've never called it that. I've only called it the hop. But just your ability to connect with people, like you said, meet them where they are. If maybe they're intimidated to reach out to the school or to reach out to an email address, maybe they'll go. Maybe they'll come and see you at North Reading Night Out or something like that. So what you're doing is so great, and I can just I just want to say congratulations. You've done so much, and then also what you've done is create an opportunity to give some tools to the school. One of the points that you had here was it would be great to have an introduction guide, and now that's happening. I think that's so great. And so I just want to commend you on that, and you're doing some really great work, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think an important point to emphasize, I love that you said, not just necessarily if you have an IEP or some sort of diagnosis, that there could just be some sort of school situation, and that you guys are putting yourself out there as a resource. I love that. And one of the things you talked about being guidance, but it does seem just being out in the community about special ed, that's kind of what I hear the most, the inconsistencies among the different schools, but then individual classrooms. So your recommendation for the inconsistencies was some more professional development? Is that?
Yes, we thought that, and we're not aware of all the professional development that
Yeah.
occurs, so it's hard to speak to what has occurred and what has not, but it feels like that's an area that's always ripe for a little more explanation,
Yeah.
for exploration, and, if we had the time, it would be lovely to have more of that, and for parents to know about it too, because that's where this maybe a little bit of lack of transparency, and parents aren't aware that,
Yeah.
of the degree of education that is occurring behind the scenes.
And I think this is one of the places where the survey was useful to get some of this perception data, but most of us are not education experts, and so this is where it's really useful to be collaborating with the district to bring this feedback and say, this is what parents are feeling, this is what parents are thinking. How do what will you do with it next? Do you think this is accurate? Will you delve into this more, and just leave it in the hands of the experts?
Okay. I have a question in terms of and this is a question for all the people, Dr. Daly, whoever can answer this question, Cynthia. If there are leaders in the general education classrooms that are really doing it well, Is there a way to highlight that, or is there a way to like mine their experiences to share with others, other teachers or things like that? Is that, like, you can have the CPAC awards, the teachers that do, the teachers that are doing it right, and maybe like highlighting that, like we have the,
Did you say the CPAC awards?
yeah, I did. A lot of awards, but like the Charlie Jones, how that highlights education,
Yeah.
just to have someone that highlighted for like really doing a great job in terms of working with special education, plans and things like that. That might be interesting to highlight the successes.
It's a great idea. Cynthia, I don't know if you had thoughts or.
No, I think they're all great ideas, and I think it's giving us an opportunity to really think outside the box of sort of what we've been doing and what we can do differently. And hearing the inquiry around professional development, it's another just really good piece of information for us to be aware of, so that we can do a better job of sharing all the professional development that we do, and then think about it in another way. As you said, perhaps we're highlighting some work and maybe finding a way to showcase that more facing forward to the public, so that families have a sense of the great work that is being done and how we're working to improve and how we're showcasing it, and just so that we can show the work that's happening in the district. But I think those are all great ways just to get at that piece of making it more forward-facing to families, I think is a really important point that has been surfaced through this process. So thank you.
I'll just add that, Mr. Collini can jump in. When we have professional development days, we also have opportunities for teachers to share with others, and I think we can do more. I think there's new and emerging topics that I think we need to touch base on, things that have more research has come out in recent years, and there's pieces that we can continue to do. But I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add. Or?
I think we offer a lot. I think it's more about the understanding of what has been offered and to what scale. We have 250 educators for K-12, so we definitely go into pedagogy and different levels and opportunities through there. So I think it's pretty easy to add a communication device of what professional development sessions we've offered in different areas. All our new teachers take the UDL session. It's 22.5 hours of working with them, understanding that's your tier 1 best instruction practices to account for all students. In their first 3 years, they have to complete that course, and actually veteran teachers are encouraged to participate in that as well, and they get recognized for the hours and the PDs and credit. So we're always looking for new ideas to bring into our PD circuit.
One of the good things the state has done is required 15 hours in English learners, multilingual learners, as well as 15 hours in special education. I've been known to say many times that in my mind, every teacher needs to be a special education teacher and have those skills and abilities to work with all kids. So great ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I'm going to out myself a little bit. Qualitative researcher. I wanted to hear the stories behind there, because I was looking at the information about that there was inconsistencies, and sometimes you never want to lose what you're doing really well in that, and to make sure to recognize what's really working. And so I wanted to know more. I was like, what are the stories behind there? And I appreciate how you talked about, is it a school? Is it a room? Is it trying to figure out some patterns that are there. But I even wanted to hear more about, can we fine tune what's really working? We only have a finite resources. Are there things that are working that we want to make sure and hold on to and protect? And then what are some opportunities that we can look at? And to be able to be strategic about that.
Yeah, we got a lot of information. We got a ton of information, and we've aggregated it at different levels. But I can send it to you. We can send some of the aggregated information to
Yeah, this can be a floor of a discussion, not necessarily a ceiling. We can, you know,
And Dr. Elkins, I believe you're the new liaison also, so that works out well.
That's right, yeah.
And we
I
have,
was going to say, there's a fit here.
All kinds of questions.
and we have, I mean, we have a wonderful relationship. We've also met, you know, with Cynthia, and then we met a little bit to share some of it. Because at different levels of information, there's things we can do, take immediate steps, long-term steps. And then we've also got a lot of data and information from other resources through our Department of Education reviews and things. We bring all of those items together to help move us forward, so.
I think my other question was is that within the K through 12 field, is there a particular best practice model, or here's this, you know, district that's doing it the best? Is there anything within that type of literature? I don't know who to look to answer that we may be able to, again, with finite resources, are there some wins?
I think when we're talking about special education, the biggest win is a collective understanding of the I in individual. So certainly there are best practices that have higher impact with certain profiles or disabilities, but I think really understanding that when we're talking about students with individualized learning needs, it's really important to understand that when we're coming to the table, we really have to think about the student that is sitting in front of us in the classroom. So there are some specific disability types or specific learning profiles where we can certainly point to specific methodologies or specific types of programs that we know leverage and result in higher impact. But it's balancing that with ensuring that we have peer cohorts for programs that we are developing, ensuring that we are remaining flexible and creative to be able to develop programming to meet individualized student needs. You know, we had an opportunity to think outside of the box a few years back, and we were able to have a couple of students remain, you know, it was the vision of the parent to have the child remain in the home school. And just by thinking a little bit differently, working with the parent and the team, developing some interventions out in the community, that made the difference for two students, the difference between staying connected to their home school or needing an outplacement. And so we're always having to balance these pieces with making sure that we have peer cohorts, particularly in a small district like North Reading. So it becomes important to be flexible and to really make sure we are designing and creating programs that can meet the needs for our students.
And with respect, I think the greatest best practice that exists is clear communication. And I think that was a major theme that came up in the survey where it was done well, where the teachers who had those open lines of communication with the parent, where the parent felt heard, and where we saw things break down is where there was not communication, or there was a breakdown somehow in that. And so I think moving forward within the district, just ensuring that those parents feel heard, ensuring that that communication takes place and that that communication is proactive as opposed to reactive, because that's where the parents start to feel more concerned. That's where we see these emotions getting elevated. And so that, I think I can speak for the data there, as that being probably the number one theme. You asked earlier about themes in the data.
I had one more question.
You're allowed.
And it was about the universal design. And so was there, I think I'm asking this to the room, is there anything else that we can be doing as much as we are leveraging aspects of technology within the classroom at this point? Is there anything that we can identify that would increase the universal design for all students to increase access? I don't know if anything emerged through that.
I don't think much came through.
Could you do me a favor for those in the room who may not know what universal design is? Define.
Sure, I will do my best. I don't have a textbook
Anybody.
in front of me, but making sure that things are presented in such a way that everyone has access to the information. So the example earlier was the font design. So some of the ones we probably know is, don't use Times New Roman because it has all the fancy stuff on the end. And so for some learners, it makes it hard to read. And actually, almost for everybody, universal design. So when you go to something that's more like an Arial, then you can read more quickly. It's more accessible to everyone. So I was wondering if anything came up with seating, pedagogy, lights, heat, anything. I didn't know what emerged, but that's what came to mind.
We didn't get that level of detail. We didn't request that level of detail, but
Yeah, no, I would just speak to just a good metaphor for everyone to keep in mind, the concept of when you have a building, often a ramp is put on as like an aftermarket thought, right? And a great, visual that I've seen is just when it snows, if you shovel the ramp first, everyone can get in, right? As opposed to shoveling the steps and then not getting to the ramp. So just universally approaching it from the outset when you design your curriculum and your lessons and your assessments, keeping everyone in mind. So we've spent a tremendous amount of time looking at our DCAP, which is our District Curriculum Accommodation Plan, which really is what's available for all students. And so I think the convergence of that with technology, so that document includes technology, but there's so many things that educators can do with technology now to help, whether we're thinking of differentiation or lesson design right from the outset, or designing lessons in a different way so that you don't have to differentiate as much because there's more choice involved, meeting students where they are. So I would say that's been at the heart of a lot of the work we've done with our district plan and through the PD that Mr. Colleen puts on. We have a UDL coach multi-district that comes in and works with all of our staff. So I think those things are driving, and just for people to understand that is the precursor for all the special education work as well, to help our gen ed classes. But we need to hear what's working well and what's not working and what we need to do more of, so.
I think you'll hear the common theme, is we're interested. And this is something we are all interested in. And first off, thank you for all the work you're doing. Really is deeply appreciated. May not always feel like it, may not always, we're not always here in front of you, but it really is. So I will turn the question back a little bit. If there are other things we can do, like post information for you, or if there's other things like that that we can help with, we're more than happy to.
thank you. Thank you. We will definitely take
And as we think of things, we will provide that to you too.
Thank you. I'll send you all more of the
Great.
data.
Thank you.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't know when there's a clapping moment, so just so people understand. Okay, so on to the Hood Outdoor Space. We're going to talk about the process of dedication and talk about the naming and the process we go through for that.
Yes. So a couple of things I just wanted to start with that, what was shared in your packet was the policy around naming. So we can have a little bit of a discussion about this. My thought is that this is probably outside. It's not a field. It's not a building. It's a space, which Dr. McKay will present. I wasn't able to share the presentation that they have in your packet. I received it today, but I think it's worth looking at. They put a lot of effort into it. I was I was going back and forth with, how much of this was a surprise to speak publicly. We kind of went back and forth. I think they're comfortable talking a little bit about the vision for whose honor this would be. I think this is a space that's been in the works for many, many years, but it's sort of taken on a new phase in recent years. So is that okay to do?
Yeah, why don't we go out there
Is
since
that
we don't
okay?
have a copy of the.
And then just let me get it up, and then I need
Dr.
to.
Daly framed it very well for us, so thank you. Microphone's there. You want to stand here so you're near the microphone?
The camera's right there. Just- So thank you for having us tonight. I'm Glenn McCann, the principal of the Hood School.
I'm Jessica Blanchett, the school nurse.
And more importantly in this, Jessica is a dear friend of, was a dear friend of Mrs. Gorman. So how this started is gonna seem like it jumps around a little bit, but it gets to like a path that makes it understandable. So just a few thank yous. So we had Gretchen Daly working with us intensively on this, Nurse Blanchett, Shannon Racine, and Mrs. Burnham from our PA jumped on at the end, and we've had a lot of volunteers, so we're gonna have to like really do a really big thank you, but we're just like literally in that preliminary, like starting phase of it, so we'll wrap it up nice at the end, but we have a lot of hands to thank, a lot of many people making light work. More instrumental in this was what we call our communities of practice, so the Hood School operates on faculty meetings designed around learning best practice, working together to achieve a common goal, coming up with great ideas on how to do things within the building, and then applying those within the building. We actually had our culminating meeting today where each community of practice presents their outcome for the year, and this actually was the presentation that was used. So what we're here to talk about today is called the Gorman Pathway to Possibilities, not named yet, just kind of in an infancy, where people can be calm, connect, and grow. So this started back in 2016. I had a graduate student working on staff. She is now a physical therapist in Florida. It was originally designed to be an outdoor fitness center. She had done all the research on it, and it kind of always remained one of those things that was not finished at the Hood School in my mind. We had taken on the playground project, and this was just something that stuck with me. And so in 2025, at the beginning of the school year, we dedicated a community of practice towards this topic. And to be honest, it was definitely a Christie-driven idea. So Mrs. Gorman was instrumental in the Hood School around all things wellness, meaning social emotional wellness for students. She founded our Meta Moment Room, which is a place where students can go and de-escalate. She was always great for a cozy corner and designing those specifically, and keeping up staff morale. So we were kind of like think of a way to like pay tribute to her, and this came up. So it's an outdoor space focused on mindfulness, sensory awareness, and emotional regulation within a natural environment. So as I said, we have talked with some stakeholders, myself, the Hood School staff, the Parents Association, and community volunteers, and the community of practice did a lot of research around outdoor time, outdoor spaces, and accessibility. And this was definitely a way that they've thought it could promote student well-being and decrease student anxiety.
So I was on one of the committees, and back to Christy, she always did things like in a different way, took ideas out of the traditional classroom, always had students feel safe and seen. They were having like a troubling day, she would take them out to the Meta Moment Room. So outdoor time is always been a topic in North Reading. And so we came up with an idea to do like an outdoor classroom, potentially with like a chalkboard, seating area. So say the 5th grade wants to go out and do like an ELA classroom, they can go out, or if kindergarten just wants to go out and read a book, they can go outside and read a book. So that was one of the areas that we were looking into. And then the other one is kind of like a sanctuary pathway. So to kind of like just take a walk around outside near the recess area, but have potential signs up to, stop and take a deep breath. Next one, stop. What do you see around you? What do you smell? Just like as a calming walkway. So if a classroom wants to go out, take the whole classroom out and do the walk, or if a kid's just having an off day and they need a break, go outside, and this is just a pathway that's already there and set up that they can just kind of walk through.
So some engagement ideas around the way is that Miss Alexa, our school adjustment counselor, has talked about doing kindness rocks and making kindness rocks the outline of the pathway. We have an entrance archway already constructed, not with the bottom picture is the one where it's currently at. The top picture is where we envision it going. That was installed recently by an Eagle Scout. And there's a it's kind of like easy to describe if you think about where we have recess and where we have our door 19, we call it. It's our exit and entrance door for recess near the ball field. It's just a little pathway along that area. So right now, it's just been, we really need to be cleared. We need to have some brush removed just to kind of have an understanding of what that area will look like. So we've already had a little bit of help with that. And this was just some of the research that came across from the study group. Basically, stress reduction, academic focus, social interaction on being outside, and self-esteem boost. So right now, literally phase 1, we're just establishing a path. Next year, it would be to establish it as the Gorman Pathway to Possibilities as a calm, reflective walking space with guided use and outdoor classroom space. And also, if time permits, next year would be to have it integrated into our school culture and practices. And then in 27, 28, to build it out to, there was a lot, when the study group met, they got onto a lot of extension activities and how to like build out after that. And we kind of brought it back to, we have to get this approved, we have to get the space done, and then we can build out that. So that's our timeline. And then any questions?
Not a question, this is my comment, which is like, this is, I couldn't love it more, I think it's amazing. Just for so many different reasons, for the outdoor classroom, oh, thank you, the outdoor classroom having that utility of just getting kids into, like, you know, out into the fresh air and just a fresh perspective and ability to do some of their work outside. And obviously, I know Jen has worked a lot on the outdoor committee, but I think beyond that, having the pathway, one is a way to honor Mrs. Gorman, but also there's so much evidence, and you shared it, of just the improvement in mental health and stress reduction of just like getting outside, touching grass, forest bathing, whatever you want to call it, is amazing. And I like, to me, I'm like, okay, start at the Hood School and then move to the other elementary school. It's like, it's like critical stuff. I think it's so cool. And maybe even something, I'm sure you've already discussed this, but maybe something where there's some cool grant funding in the future to find from, you know, like Mass Autobahn or things like that.
We had talked about the Cummings grant, and we had missed the deadline for it, so that's like the priority for next year, right off the bat.
Yeah.
We actually thought of you the other day when we were out there, because there is a touch of a poison ivy problem in the area.
Oh.
And I said that how much the school committee would love to have goats come and have the children. Well, I know we've had this conversation.
I would love this. And actually, I'm pretty good at pulling poison ivy myself. I'm not allergic to it. So if you need yeah, I know, I'm very special. If you need volunteers, like, I'm there with my garden gloves on.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
So cool. Well done. Thank you.
One thing I wanted to dovetail on, I'm wondering if there might be a youth-build opportunity. I used to supervise that program out in Fitchburg, and so it's usually high school students, and so they work through some money. I hope it's still around as I'm talking, through the state, and they are learning a specific skill. They go to a work site. Their faculty member goes with them, and in addition to math and everything they're learning, they go to a site and see it through. And this just sounds like a great opportunity for a give back in that way. So I don't know if any of the schools or resources in the area.
I appreciate that. Yes, I reached out to the vocational school, and we had talked about, like, specifically around the chalkboard and the seating with them. Like I said, we didn't get too deep with it. Just Mr. Papagni and I happen to be friends. He kind of runs one of the programs over there, and I reached out to him and said, hey, is this something that the Voc would be interested in if it goes forward? So I love that idea. We've kind of thought about it. Nurse Blanchett has enlisted that area. We needed to have a fundamental understanding of what, like, the landscape area of it was look like. So you had
I had a senior come out. He kind of just like edged out the pathway. And then when we kind of just laid a little wood chips to see like what it would look like, my son who graduated last year came out and helped. So, and there's definitely been parents that are willing to help the PA has been a huge support of this if we need whatever we need to get it up and going.
Mr. Lynch has been out.
Yep, the parent went out, yeah.
So we've had a few already, but definitely once we kind of
Yeah.
get the space identified, approved, we can kind of wrap our minds around like those bigger next steps. But I love that idea. Thank you for sharing it.
I love every single part of this. This is amazing. I didn't have the pleasure of knowing Christy, but I've heard just amazing things about her. I love how you're connecting this back to the meta room and everything that you're doing with social emotional learning. I know you already have a great community over there and kind of have these pieces in place with the playground build and the PA leading the charge on that and everything. So no, I think anything we could do to help, I think this is amazing. I hope that the other elementary schools and any schools can follow suit, and I'm impressed with all of your ideas.
And I appreciate you mentioning the meta room. That was a total Christie project. It's done so well for so many students. I mean, we are in North Reading. We know that I have a space crunch, and I was really afraid to try to name the meta moment room after Christie, even though that would be like the perfect representation. This is the next best thing. I think we can incorporate everything that she stood for. Basic overall wellness was her thing, right? So we have those little pieces for students. We've already had staff. I've gone out there in the morning and just stood in the space, and you cannot believe how calming it is just to hear the turkeys in the background. It's super cool. And you feel like you're literally 20 feet from the door, but you feel like you're in a different world, and it's amazing. So it's a true testament to what she brought to the table for all of us, and I think it's a good reflection of, the next steps to recognize her and what she did for our community.
So I'll be a practical guy.
Yeah.
I would love, if you maybe already have it, like some sort of project plan or something, and the reason why I'm asking that isn't because the question, the progress on it, it could be a great blueprint for what we're talking about for other schools. So, in the very high likelihood that this will be wonderful, it would be great to replicate.
Yeah.
And the more we have to make it easier to replicate, that would be phenomenal. And it also can help us identify gaps where we come. Where if something's codified, we say, oh, we're going to have trouble with this piece of it, whether it's getting lumber or getting whatever. We could sort of figure some of that stuff out a little bit better. So the more you can give us a path, as it were, to pun not intended on that, a path to where you're playing on this build or how it's going to look, the more we can help and the more we can do throughout the community. So that'd be great.
Thank you. We've had some good learns along the way around like affixing signs to trees and stuff like that you cannot do. So we've learned some, and it's been
That stuff would be good learning tools for other.
right. It's just like the things that you think you can do. So just learning those things along the way have been pretty good before we start doing some work. So I'm happy to share that, and I like to learn personally along the way. So it's I love being outdoors. I'm an outdoor person, so any opportunity to kind of like build that into what we do. I envision a lot of like SEL lessons out here, a lot of like walks to de-escalate and just to center. I anticipate, like, we're in New England, so snow is a problem, right? So there's some give and take here that we need to figure out, but it's a joy to figure out.
I'm sure there will be some level and many levels of red tape for things we're going to have to cross too. And we're here to plow through that the best we can.
Appreciate that.
I'll speak to the red tape, I guess. But, I've been in talks with Dr. McKay. I think it's a wonderful idea. I've been trying to think through what could those possible things be. Mr. Connolly's already checked with our insurance provider, just talking about, liability, and it seems like there's a path there.
I did the same.
Yeah. The ADA compliance and ADA accessibility, I think, is something we have to think about with slopes and so having different ways in, and thinking that through. You may have done that. We're going to want to do that. Building inspector, even for the archway and everything, just get everything on the up and up so that there's no issues down the road. Because it's a great idea. We want to make sure we're careful and thoughtful and proactively addressing those things ahead of time. So we will hit all those marks.
It's so cool.
Any other questions?
Just an offer. If it's helpful, I work at SNHU on the Manchester campus, and up there we have a full meditation path and also 2 outside spaces for sensory and reestablish. And so if it would be helpful to see them, like if there's things you could pull from it.
Yeah,
let me
appreciate that.
know anytime that's helpful.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
I didn't know that, so thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for this.
Very
It's a wonderful honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. And as I posed it, I'll let you come back down.
Officially wearing Jeff's jacket.
I know, it's
Anyone?
freezing.
So lots of emotions, certainly. As I posed it to you, just to consider the naming implications, I think what we have decided is that something that's not a building or a field can come just to the school committee, and you can decide, as opposed to it having to go out to the full process of receiving names and all that. I just wanted to make sure we had agreement on that. And then I have a letter that I can bring to you for an upcoming meeting, or we can even do it as it gets closer.
I believe that's
discussion?
accurate. Having looked at the policy a little bit, when we went through it with the fields last time, this feels like it's substantively different. I can't imagine it would be an issue. So I would love to bring this forward.
I was looking through some old town meeting warrants, and I will note that when this room was named, it did go before the town meeting. So it's a little different than the way we've interpreted it in recent years. However, I do think you can possibly continue with that. I can check again with the town side, but I think where we came to last year through that whole process was fields or buildings was a little different than
Yes.
sections of buildings so.
I tend to agree.
Okay.
Excellent. Number 6, electrical vehicle charging stations.
Thank you. So we are going to pass over this item, but I will speak to it briefly. If you'd allow me to leave the meeting now. But essentially, we've been working for several years on having a relationship with RMLD to install 2 electrical vehicle charging stations at this building. There is not necessarily, my understanding, there's not necessarily a gift involved. It's an agreement where they are using the space. People would pay. We would not profit from the charging. It's just basically an opportunity. We would profit from the opportunity. There's many people with electric vehicles that would like a place at school to charge. The financial piece would go through RMLD, but there's also no cost to us to install it or do anything else. So Michael has looked at different options where we were more involved in the profit end, but it's a lot of money up front. And so we, at this point, it's that piece. What we're just trying to clarify, my understanding is there is a piece where we would accept, the school committee would accept the contract terms. There's a piece that the select board may need to accept, and it depends on whether or not this is viewed as like a gift of the donation of the stations. So there's a few questions we still need to answer before we're able to do that. So we will bring it back to you next month. We're just waiting for a few clarifying questions. But I thought it was worth just updating on this progress because I think it's positive, and then we would continue to look at other areas at other schools. These, I believe, would go out near the tennis courts where there's already power for the tennis courts.
Yeah, I was going to ask where.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't get real geeky and say, are we doing NACS or are we doing?
Yeah, and I wouldn't know, so.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Thank you for that. So the next one is the Hood School building project update, and I can take this one. We talked about this at town meeting a little bit, just to give a brief update. Tim specifically gave a brief update. that that given, a little history, we were pretty excited when we got into the MSBA program, which is not that many schools percentage-wise get accepted into, when we were considering the replacement of the modulars, or specifically removal of one and replacement of another. As we got further into the process, it became pretty apparent that the necessary assessment of the work was going to be much more expensive than, one, we thought, and two, much closer to the actual cost if we wanted to just do replacement on our own, even without the help of the state. So having Dr. Daly and the administration contacted and was in contact with the MSBA to make sure that if we were to withdraw, this wouldn't penalize us in any way for future work. That was a true statement. Certainly we can re-enter this program for this work or for other work at any time, and they would welcome us in, assuming we pass the criteria. So this is just to say we have a formal letter to withdraw from the MSBA program for the Hood School building project. And so at this time, that is now not in consideration for the work we're planning on doing. We do plan on bringing this up at the town meeting in the fall. As we do have quotes for the work, so that is something that's going to come up more specifically for a town warrant. But that being said, or a town vote, but that being said, we are formally withdrawing from the MSBA program for this work, and that's really what this is. Anything?
The letter that is shared with you here requires signature from the same folks that signed the SOI. So Mr. Friedman chaired the school committee, Mr. Giliberto was the chief executive officer, the town administrator, and then myself as the superintendent. So I believe this is being presented to select board tonight as well, and it's a very simple letter just saying that we respectfully withdraw.
So there you go.
If there's any questions or thoughts before we maybe make a vote to approve us sending this letter, Mr. Freeman?
No, other than just to say it was we're really grateful to the program and to the state for allowing us in to begin with, and for a graceful exit, and for understanding that, we're trying to do the best thing for the town and certainly our schools. And, we may seek their assistance in the future, so this was a great thing. So other than that, I would love to have a motion to accept. Do we need a motion?
Do we need a motion?
I think we should, just to make it clear that
that's fine.
Everyone approves us pulling out.
So move.
Second.
Second.
No one wins. We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0.
And just thank you to Mr. Giliberto and members of the select board and Ms. Galvin for being a part of the meetings. We still attended all of the meetings. The MSBA has been wonderful to work with, very informative. And so we're very thankful to have learned so much from this process. It will certainly aid us moving forward as well.
Perfect. Excellent. Now on to some policy work. We have a number of policy first readings. So the first one being JGI.
Mr. Freeman, could I just suggest that we go out of order to allow Mr. Segroy to, then he can go, because he's here for this one?
No, man, no. No, you're sticking around.
Oh.
We would do IDAC first, and I noticed that I didn't change this.
Yeah, go for it. So IDAC, is that the one?
Correct.
Okay, yep.
So this is an update to our acceptable use policy. Mr. Segroy worked, who is our coordinator of digital learning, worked very hard on this update of our policy and also the procedures that go along with it, to bring us into not just addressing internet acceptable use, but to expand that well beyond that with technology as well. You can see that he's updated and changed a good amount here. I had him go back and do sort of a red line, so you can see some of the changes. But it's really the first place where we've spoken a lot about artificial intelligence and how that can fit into the framework. And so I'm just curious if anyone has any comments or questions, or if there's anything that, any questions you have for Mr. Zagori while he's here as well.
I appreciate that there's someone that understands all of this so they can stay on top of it. So thank you. Because to me, this is like talk about something that changes
Yeah.
constantly. So if there's somebody whose job it is to keep up with all of those updates, is much appreciated.
I work with a lot of these sorts of agreements. Is there anything, and my apologies for not having thoroughly read it through before, is there anything stating that the schools at their discretion can shut down the network and/or systems at school discretion as it sees fit? Can you turn everything off? In other words, keeping everything on is not a right. If we feel there's a threat, I assume we can turn off.
Threats and violations of the policy, yep.
Yeah, okay, great.
So this would obviously translate also into, school handbooks as well.
Yep.
We are updating too, and this will tie into what we're talking about elsewhere with personal technology. As you're aware, it's not just phones, there's watches, there's glasses, there's all different things. It's not just the devices they bring, it's not just the computers or laptops, it's all devices. And so this helps to identify that and gives us some model language for us to adopt into our handbooks as well, to try to combat cheating, distractions, many other pieces that we're going to talk about in another policy in a few moments as well.
No, and I like that you end with covering a bit of AI as well, and as well as who knows what the next thing is. This is great, thank you. We do not need, we can approve, we're going to have a motion to approve the first reading. But any other questions or comments?
Thank you. The complexities they seem to grow every time you turn around within this. My question is, do students have to use it?
What do you mean?
Technology for learning? Can a student opt out?
It's an interesting question.
Yeah, so I think for the most...
would be the first one.
Yeah, for the most part, I know that is very much a trendy topic right now, as a lot of research coming out. I think the biggest thing that we try to talk about here is preparing kids for the real world, for the 21st century, which we're well into. We have a 1-1 program. We believe that that's important. We've never dictated or mandated that they're on devices all day long. And so I think that limited screen time is important. And I think it's a balance between what's being asked of them to use at school and at home. I think it would be nearly impossible to navigate most of the courses here without using any technology. But I do think that we are open to having more options for kids and more conversations with teachers to use pens and pencils a lot more. I don't know that we've ever had a complete opt-out request, but I think we would deal with that on a case-to-case basis as it came in. Have we had a complete opt-out request, Joe?
I think part of the prompt of my question was looking at the last presentation and seeing a chalkboard as opposed to everything being projected. So I was thinking about it from those terms more than just an individual learner and a laptop, but also within that scope.
Yeah, I think this is more if they use, not,
Sure.
Not.
We do not have an acceptable chalkboard policy, though.
There you go.
I should note, I think we should do a separate, if we're going to do a first reading, do IDAC and then also IDACR. I've talked with the policy subcommittee a little bit about a blanket discussion in the future about whether the R's which are the local procedures, should be in your policy handbook or not. There is definitely some thinking out there that maybe we should remove all of them because they require multiple readings to change when those are really the pieces that are at the school level. But at the moment, the Rs are still in our policy manual, so if we could just have a first reading vote for IDAC and then also IDACR, if discussion is concluded.
Okay, move to approve policy IDAC.
And IDCA.
Oh, I thought it was two separate motions.
I would do two separate.
Oh, two separate, okay. And do it as a first reading.
First reading of IDA, I don't know why I'm having trouble with this, IDAC.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0.
Okay, and then move to approve the first reading of IDACR.
Second.
I'm not following.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
Yes, what's the difference between them and where does that lie?
Sure. So IDAC is the higher level school committee policy, and then anything with a -R is going to be the procedures that we follow at the school level. So,
Got it.
for example, this is the form we send home. So we update that. We've kind of I don't bring it back to you every year and say we're going to update the dates, but any changes within there technically don't need to be approved except for the fact that it is in our handbook, so we have to do it.
Got it, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0. Awesome.
So, related, I will suggest that we do JGFH next, if we could. Thank you.
Goes to my question.
Yep, that sounds great. Wireless communication devices.
I have a question. Or should I wait and
Go for it.
till there's time for questions? And obviously this is something that is like the prior, things are always changing, updating. It looks like a lot of work has been done on this. Was this done so this probably has been the work of some time, I would imagine.
I can speak a little bit to the background here. So there's a few things that are at work here. So going back several years, Surgeon General's study came out about dangers of cell phones and social media. Also locally at the Massachusetts, there was grant funding available also to study this. We formed a study group 2 or 3 years ago now, I can't remember exactly when. So we've had a lot of input from educators at all levels in our district. We also, this was the work of our K-12 action team over the last 2 years to look specifically at the dangers of and the health-related risks of students using cell phones and social media. The Attorney General's toolkit for addressing this in the community also includes model policy language, and most recently there was grants available for $500,000, which sounds great, but when you think there's 351 districts that every single one of them needs a cell phone policy, I'm very hopeful that we put in for 50,000. We'll see if we can get anything there, but I have heard that possibly some other funding sources coming available.
Is that for technology to address?
It can be used for education, technology, policy design. So in order to apply for that grant, which was due on June 5th, I had to submit a draft policy. So I went with essentially the model policy.
Sure.
And I've scaled it back from that based on some feedback. So I brought this back to not only our policy subcommittee, but our policy subcommittee was very aware of the fact that this is a community issue. So I did send it out to the whole community that it would be discussed tonight. And also brought it back to our K-12 subcommittee, our K-12 action team. And I heard from, in her parent role, Dr. Elkins, who was there for several years working on that group, as well as some other parents. So some of those changes are reflected in the draft that you see tonight, including sort of a keen awareness. One parent especially in particular is very aware of the need for cell phones for medical emergencies. And recognize one part that I'll be honest, the model language missed, that staff also may have a medical need. So that was very good idea to put in there. And also that the language originally spoke to, I'll just roll to that piece, spoke to when it's in a 504 or IEP, but sometimes that takes a little time. So we just changed the language a little bit to say, if a student has a disability or medical condition requires it, or other device, the special ed team coordinator health office will notify appropriate staff of those accommodations and work to include those in the 504. So not that you have to wait for a life-saving device and for it to be approved through a process. So I think that was some great feedback. It does include, I will say, language for staff. And so we did change this a little bit. So some of the crossouts here are from the original language. Some of the crossouts are from the model language, and I'm just highlighting them for you. To celebrate the spirit, so the language that was in the model policy was for after school, students may not use cell phones and other devices after school. And so, you can imagine that there would be a great deal of discussion around what this might look like in terms of,
my kid
policy. Yeah, and also who's going to enforce this, right? And who's, we walking through the stands at a football game and seeing who's on a phone. But what we thought was possibly the language being, the spirit of remaining engaged and present. Students are discouraged from using cell phones and other devices. So I think we have to think about this in two ways. One way is there is concern around, the distraction that a device causes and the possible dangers that it causes in terms of, cyberbullying or violations. But then there's also this mental health and health aspect of it too. We're talking about a distraction, but we're also talking about, there used to be a smoking room, not in this building, but in the old high school, right? Kids were smoking on campus. This is that type of health as well. So I think trying to manage it and say, we're going to manage, at the football game or the hockey game or at a concert that the kids can't have their phones out, but we're going to try to always have a spirit that is discouraged. Similarly with staff, that staff should really be encouraged. And we flipped it a little bit to make it more positive, to say staff are strongly encouraged to model appropriate behaviors and not use them except for essential purposes, as opposed to, prohibiting staff or discouraging them. So that was the idea with those pieces there. So there's a lot of work that went into this. We did update this a few years ago to talk about this as, wireless communication devices. What we would be hopeful with the policy, so one thing that we could consider, if we did look at a software-based option, Mr. Segroy has been great at bringing in, we've looked at 2 different vendors. If we do get the grant, I don't know that it's possible without the grant, but to pilot a software-based solution where a student essentially could check in the morning, it would take their phone, the phone would still be accessible for emergencies, but it would sort of not allow it to do any of the distracting things during the day. If that doesn't work, the low-tech option, we have I'm pointing to our caddies that we have in our classrooms. So there's low-tech options, there's high-tech options, we can think about both.
So we'd be loading an app onto their phone, essentially?
That would be, if they want to have a phone in school,
Roughly
they would have
speaking.
they would have to agree to that term, it would take attendance. It's rolled out, and Watertown was the first district to do this in this area, and it's been very successful there. You may have seen some of those developments. So those are things we would think about. The policy doesn't change too much K-8. We essentially have this in place now. The biggest change would be at the high school, and the biggest change at the high school would be the downtime. Students now in the classrooms really aren't using their devices, their phones, they're able to use other devices. But they do use them during free time. They are taking them to lunch, and instead of engaging one-on-one, they're looking at their phones. This would prohibit that. And then there would be some punishments, progressive discipline. Obviously, there'll be a learning curve. But it is a shift, but there is a lot of health and science behind it. So long-winded answer, but we've done a lot of work on this.
I can tell. It's great. One comment on on the ways to enforce the phone-free time with it being like physical, like the caddies or whatnot, versus the technology. Obviously, the technology is more expensive. what, like, what's the cost of something like that for, like, a pilot would be great, but like, is it prohibitive? Watertown's done it. How much is it for a high school or a district
Yeah.
to purchase something like that?
There's two different options. One was $5 per student, one was $15 per student. They offer different benefits and one can do more than others. And when I think about the cost of just for that, it's prohibitive, but if I think about how that might relate into our greater safety network, there's some other pieces there that we could pair with some other safety
I
initiatives.
mean, I think it's such a huge priority
Yeah.
for this school committee.
Yeah, it's not inexpensive though. So we're talking, 15,000 or so when we play that out. So if we were to get funding and support, my thought, and Mr. Segroy, we might pilot one at middle school, one at high school, and then we learn the systems, figure them out, and see what's there.
Okay. One other comment, sorry to
Go for it.
take over. I see all the comments from, admin and faculty and things here. And that's another, I would say, and I'm not telling you something you don't know. I'm just, one pushback that I've heard consistently, whether it's from teachers, teachers in other districts, teachers in this district, or administrators, is how do we enforce this? And like in the policy right now, as it exists, kids aren't supposed to have cell phones in the classroom, but that varies so greatly from class to class. You have some teachers that enforce it and some teachers that don't. And also, teachers should be teaching, in my mind, they shouldn't be enforcing a cell phone policy. So if that's taking away from a lot of classroom time, like, to me, like the technology aspect has so many more positives, and I do appreciate all of being able to read all the comments from, like, Dr. Meyer and who else commented?
Mr. Clean, Ms. Conant,
Yep.
Ms. Oliveto, yep.
And Mr. Clean, those are all such good points, but to me, this is like so mission critical. It's like, as I have said before, this would be the hill I would die on as a school committee member. So I think this is great. I think it's really exciting, and I wonder, like, how quickly could we start piloting these?
Yeah. The biggest thing that I think we hear from other schools too about parents wanting to reach their kids in an emergency. So one of the things I like about the software base is the device is still on their person.
Yeah.
And we could, in an emergency, unlock things.
Yeah.
If it's in a caddy, it's easy to get to. Like I said, K-8 currently, there's already a plan in place for those devices not being on their person. So like I said, I don't see a major shift in practice, K-8.
Yeah.
It's really those high school conversations. And the last 2 years, we've done a lot to address the very question you had, is we actually already have the policy in place at the high school, but it's about whether it's enforced and uniformly. And so they've done a lot this year, teacher-driven, but led by administration. But the teachers also really wanted to see that it was being in place uniformly. So they've taken a lot of steps this year and last year to make that more uniform with a more clear bell-to-bell policy. It will be easier to enforce. There will be questions about what those consequences are and what that looks like. And if you do have your phone out, where does it go? Most likely, I think this is a case where the high school would probably borrow from what they do in the middle school, which is, teacher warning, and then it goes to the office, you pick it up at the end of the day, that type of thing. But those are some pieces we have to figure out and work through.
Okay. I had one other comment and I forgot it, but it'll come back to me. Thank you so much.
I'm good, I already went over this.
I'm just so glad we're doing this. There's been such a significant uptick in cyberbullying, and being able to have your phone out even at lunch is where I'm hearing that that is happening all across the nation, K through 12, and also at the college level. So that is of significant concern. So being able to learn the skills to be able to talk with each other and de-escalate in that way, I think anything we can do to help.
Yeah.
will make a difference.
That was what I wanted to say. Was also with the technology, if someone has an iWatch or something like that, people aren't going to take off their watch necessarily and put it in a caddy. I want to share really quickly because I'm not on the policy subcommittee, but I just want to share two experiences that my own daughters had. One of which is watching during a test someone on their iWatch Googling the answers, and her saying, like, I studied for this all last week, and watching somebody who then got a better grade than me Googling answers is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is with lunch, and I'm so glad you're including lunch on this because, again, I am a little bit stricter than some parents. My kids aren't allowed to have social media, but my freshman daughter saying, I've lost all my friends because they just do this at lunch. And she said, I have no one to talk to. And that's sad. So.
Yeah. So we're aware and we're working on those things. You know, legislation has passed the House. We're still waiting to see whether it becomes a regulation. We're a little bit ahead of it with some of what's coming out here. And we feel like that's a good timeline for us, a little bit of a landing to figure out some of these pieces that are going to be difficult to navigate. Overwhelmingly, when you see schools that have done this, the kids actually come out and say thank you. The staff I don't believe our teachers union has taken a position, but the larger unions, MTAs and NEAs have taken positions on this. I think in general, they want distraction-free classrooms. They want, and some above and beyond these two policies we discussed tonight, Mr. Segroy has taken on some large changes. I'm not going to share them all right now, but to really kids are very savvy and they're circumventing everything. And so we're trying to do a few things to try to address that, to keep them focused on what they are here for. So,
yeah, I will.
Sounds great.
I will give my bias and say, I'd almost rather have I'd rather have a physical takeaway, and I'd love to hear the discussions of why it's necessary in an emergency and how this would practically help, given the number of lines of communication. But I'm definitely open to the discussion.
Yeah.
But it will become very easy to jailbreak these things, in my opinion, for a marginally savvy kid.
You're saying with the software?
With the software.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I will say the people that we're meeting, these are really startups, right? So when we're having the sales call, this is the kid who invented it we're talking to.
Yeah.
Which is I have to say,
new software.
and I'm just saying I've been impressed. I always push with some hard questions, and so does Mr. Segroy. They've had good answers to a lot of our questions that I'm not able to get those answers from the hardware solutions, which are also equally as expensive. But we'll continue to explore those ideas.
And by the way, it's not up to me to make that decision at all.
But I also believe that then there will be questions around any step that we take. But I also always point out, I just want to say it here again tonight, that in an emergency, police and fire will always say you don't want everybody on their phones anyway. But there are some other things you can do through the system to send alerts.
Yeah.
That right now we don't have any way to reach our students. We collect information on parents and staff. We don't really have student connections in the same way. So it's something interesting that I hadn't even considered as fully as after their presentation. So, but we'll see. We'll see where that gets us. Hopefully our grant is well received and only 10 districts applied for the 500,000 and we all get 50,000. We'll see.
There's a new study that just recently came out saying birth rates have lowered since the introduction of smart devices. So maybe we do give it out to everybody. That's bad joke, sorry.
Something.
Although real study.
I'm glad we're doing this, and I appreciate, Noel, the conversation that I believe you touched on as far as the opportunity to educate parents. And I know that I thought I kind of knew things until I saw Detective Lucci's presentation that really opened my eyes to things that, like, again, I thought I knew pretty well. I had no idea someone could get your location on Snapchat. I've never had Snapchat, but I'm not going to now, and be able to see into your home. I
It's not the only way they could do it.
I feel like that as this moves forward, opportunities we can have to weave in parent education, not just to PTOs, but into kind of the norm of how parents do interact with the school district as far as, you know, having those, you know, meet the teacher nights or whatever, if
Yeah.
something's held just before or after or something within there. I just think a lot of folks don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming if they knew better, they could do better, and that we could all work together to
Yeah.
keep all of our kids safe.
It's,
Too bad we can't require it for
well,
parents.
what we talked about in our K-12 action team, which has been great, by the way, when we do have a captive audience, so there's two big nights that, you know, the human sexuality film viewing for 5th grade parents. We could couple it that we could do it that night. Also, the middle school step up night. I mean, because
Bedfellows, those two topics.
well, it is, and I mean, they do go hand in hand.
I know.
And so I think that we have talked about that, trying to do that at a, you know, whether it's the, you know, presentation that Officer Lucci's, Detective Lucci's given, we could definitely tap into that and try to get because it's so important. And then everything, you know, part of our K-12 action group is that community engagement. So we've done, and, you know, our book read and all that work that we're doing about is all connected. Policy's one arm of it, community education, and then student education are the other two. So,
Thank you.
yes.
Great work.
Yeah,
Um,
great work. Do we approve a first reading?
Yes, indeed.
Move to approve a first reading of policy JGFH.
Well done.
Second. Go slowly.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0. That brings us back up to JGI, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Segura.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At sometime I want to have you at the beginning of the agenda so we can hear about all the things you're doing.
So thank you. This policy pertains to our physical restraint of students. This is, all of this language is due to updates to regulation. So it's basically a wholesale change of what is in our policy now, and it is written for us in consultation with council. So the only piece that I will note, there is a piece in the regulations, the JGIR, that we are still working to customize a little bit here. So when we do that, there's just a piece that we are updating, and Cynthia Conant's getting some more information to make sure that we can customize this last section. But I wanted to bring it forward tonight because I want to get a second reading so that we can begin to update our handbooks. My feeling is that it's really important to have it in there as we go into adopt our handbooks before the school year begins. So what this essentially speaks to, you know, not a major change in any of our practices, but there is some changes to some of the definitions and understandings of what it means to provide when we call a timeout, when a student is in a seclusion, what that looks like, when it needs to be reported. Some concerns, not here, but recently there's been some articles in the news about, you know, did we just change the name? Is students still going to a space that they don't have the option to leave, but it's called a sanctuary space or some other name as opposed to a timeout space? So this is just clearly identifying that, also instructing us to continue with our training and to make sure everyone's educated about what they're able to do, and then those that are trained are the only people allowed to actually provide restraint. So again, not a huge change in practice, but updates to the regulations.
All right. In terms of staff that are trained, you know, I know the answers to the questions I'm asking, but want to just say them out loud. I assume that we have staff trained in each of our schools.
We do.
We have backups just in case someone's out, all
Yep.
of those sorts of things.
I believe the regulations are 2 staff members per building. We definitely exceed that and have multiple members trained in each building.
Great.
But at least the minimums in each school. And we have an in-district trainer who's been doing that for many years, which is great as well.
Awesome.
And we have, some are teachers, some are administrators, some are paraprofessionals.
Fantastic. Any questions? Anybody?
No.
And if we could do 2 separate for the R as well for this one, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just realized that.
I like reading letters. All set?
Numbers, not so much, though.
Move to approve the first reading of JGI.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0.
Okay, and move to approve the first reading of JGIR.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0. On to first reading policy JB.
Great, so similar to the other policy, these are regulatory changes. These are something that we should have updated a few years ago in our policy. We've been doing it in practice in different ways, but in looking into this, I wanted to make sure we had the language from the law in our policy and in all of our handbooks. Chronic absenteeism is defined as 18 days, which is 10% of the school year. Our schools have been very diligent in monitoring that. We actually have made huge increases in reducing chronic absenteeism by proactively engaging with families when they approach certain percentages of the year. The language that actually we want to make sure is in our handbooks, though, is that after 5 days of unexcused absences, or 2 or more class periods in the same day, it's defining that, that there's a conversation between the principal, the family. It's more than just a letter or notification. It's making sure that there is a proactive conversation around unexcused absences to work with the students. So I want to make sure that that's in our school committee policy and also in all of our handbooks. And then the MASC language, which is what I've used here, also then speaks to dropout prevention. And so this would just be language that would be in our handbook. And the policy would end here at the green. What I did share with everyone there for reference is the MASC language. I essentially kept our first 2 paragraphs, which are very similar. The high school, I will note as a little preview, in July we'll be coming forward with other handbook suggestions. They are taking a comprehensive look at all of their attendance procedures as they're moving to half-year courses. They're looking at doing some updates to their procedures. But this would be exactly the language that's in the law about the 5 unexcused days.
I just have a question, and it's probably because I'm just reading this incorrectly. This is more just curiosity. Under student absence notification, principal or designee notifies the student's parents within 3 days of the student's absence?
Correct.
So I thought that, don't they get notified right away?
They do.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We have to do it within 3 days.
Okay.
But we do it much sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what's mandated, but
Okay, all right. 3 days, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It could be halfway to Canada.
Yeah, most of you.
I hope he's further.
Yeah, I think everyone's used to getting that call by late morning,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the time that I forgot to
Which
call.
is certainly what we would do, but this is the actual, the regulation. So it's just given us, so we will certainly exceed that and continue to exceed that.
Well, actually, I get it for the middle school and high school, but not for the elementary schools, the absences. Is that different?
Should be the same. Yep, we can look into that case by case.
Okay.
See what's going on.
ready to.
Yeah, any other questions?
I'm trying to read the one on the dropout prevention.
Oh, okay, be quiet.
Almost there. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts in it.
I think did someone delete that by
Shall
accident?
not be considered. So how long can you not show up before?
5 days before you get notification, or before.
Someone
Before
accidentally
principal.
delete it?
Delete what?
The whole,
I?
all the language?
Oh, God, did I?
I can bring it back, but it's not there anymore.
I see that.
Was there a question? I'm sorry.
It's fine.
It wasn't me.
It was me. Oh, I didn't delete.
Someone just hit undo. No,
I'm trying to hit undo, but it's not impacting anything.
there it goes. It's back.
Jennifer,
Oh, I did this?
I think
Did I do this?
I believe that was you.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
We don't have a tremendous amount of dropouts in our district, and we haven't really had specific language about it, but I think it is important to note this. Sometimes it has happened in our district a little bit more with students that might be from a different country, and they might go home and then not come back. So this is sort of laying out some language there for those students when they're of age, when they're considered that. But we're very proactive in reaching out, having a lot of conversations. I think in some districts, unfortunately, have many more students, and it's much harder to keep track of everyone. We have just a small handful of students that are on the cusp here, and we work very hard with them to keep them in school, to find alternatives, to try to figure out what might be preventing them from coming to school. But this is sort of language that's just making sure that we're at least following what's in the regulations.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Have we thought about using RFID chips? No, kidding. I mean, track their phones, I mean.
Yeah, not
just
yet.
chip them.
Oh, God. Okay, move to approve first reading of policy JB.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Opposed? Approved 4-0. And we've done the next two. I think we're at the goals, unless I'm
Yep.
mistaken. So this is just a first discussion as to how we do these. So I have not distributed them yet, but I've actually done a first draft of all of these. I will be distributing those drafts to the rest of the committee. The way this will work with superintendent goals, this is a little different than the school committee goals. So the superintendent goals, the way I've typically done this, or the way the evaluation committee has done this, is I will give them to my fellow committee member. She will take the first look at it. We'll do the first pass. I've already done a draft. You can take a look and see how bad or good it is. From there, what we
Very
will
dyadic.
from there, what we will do is then go through all of that and review that together. So there is a presentation on this. So just to go through it, I don't know if we want to project it. I'm not sure.
We all have it.
You don't have to
Yeah.
do that right now.
But what this is basically working on is the goals that have been pre-identified, including the progress toward the district goals. How have we done in the past? It sort of runs the full gamut. And for those that have been on the panel before, you've seen these previously. So I will be distributing those. We will take input from anybody who wants to write in. I can incorporate and consolidate all of that so that we won't have 40 hands touching the same thing. And then we'll present that at the July meeting.
So this, just to clarify, Mr. Rubin, I updated the summative document and dropped it in the folder. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
And what's linked here is the presentation. I'm going to continue to work on it and add to it a little bit. And I'll just let everyone know when it's ready to go. But I don't do a binder, that's what Mr. Bernard used to have, a binder in the office that everyone came to visit. I just put it hyperlinked.
That's really fun.
And that's what you can just look at. And I was going through and deleting the mid-year, but then I realized it's not. It's a 2-year piece, so I just kept everything from last year, and then I'm adding what's different for this year. And for Dr. Alkins and others that maybe didn't see last year, you're seeing both.
Thank you.
The next one, the school committee goals, again, I've done a draft on my side of it. And I've got to tweak some of the full written part, and I've saved a separate copy, so you're not going to see it out anywhere. I've got to tweak what our goals were, the 2025, 2026 goals for school committee. I've got to make sure those match up to what the agreed upon goals were at the beginning of the year. But I've already done all of the write-up on it. So, again, I will submit that to you.
Okay.
You can take a look, round robin it, and then we'll give out to everybody else. I'm going to put initial markings even for the goals that I wasn't directly involved with. Feel free to change them however you wish. And feel free to put your own, when putting comments in, you can either give them to me separately or add them as you'll see the appropriate sections for comments. You can just put your initials and writing what you want. Either way is fine. Whatever's whatever you feel most comfortable doing, and, I can avoid having you guys do some work. I'm happy to add it in. That's really, and we're going to do both of these things before the July meeting. I will get this stuff out in the next week or so to try and avoid holiday rush of people going away. But
Mr. Freeman, is that different than what's linked here, or is it?
I've got my own copy. Are you talking about the actual goals update, or?
No, I'm just curious. So there's a different version than what's in the Dropbox, you're saying?
For the school committee goals, yes. Yeah.
For mine, yeah, so that I can't see it.
For yours, yes, and for the school committee one, I saved a copy out just so I could work on it easier.
Okay.
In a different version. But yes, there will be, you're not going to see yours.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's anything you need me to drop in the boxes.
No, it's fine. So anyway, you guys will be getting some documents. I may send them as links. I may send them as documents. I'm not sure what I will do just yet. Okay.
Moving through like lightning. Well done.
Well, those are just, it's more of a warning that you're going to get something to then take an action on it.
I like
rather
it.
than.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we give you all our vacation schedules?
That's up to you. Also, I want to know I don't have to know where you're going because I can track you through your phone. Or if you leave your home network insecure, I will just know everything about you.
Don't freak me out. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I won't get into detail on those things. Okay, routine matters. It doesn't look like we have any minutes because we've been locked in school committee, in town meeting. I don't know why I keep confusing those things. In town meeting, so no minutes from that. Budget update. Of course there's an update. It passed.
Yes.
That's always the current year budget update.
Yeah.
And there's
No, I know.
nothing at this
The
time.
headline.
There's a huge update. It passed.
Yeah.
Okay, and the staffing.
Sure, just very quickly, as I introduced Ms. Sarah Orger earlier tonight for the principal at the middle school. Josh Couteau, administrative assistant at the high school, will begin in the summer. Buildings and grounds, John Hardy. Gary McAteer is moving to a head custodian, first shift, and Charlie Rosa as a summer custodian. And then some other positional shifts here. Robert Giordano, Grace Jenkins, Lisa LaBella, and Deborah Judge.
Excellent. Bids and donations. Who wants to take the role of Tim and read off? There are a bunch of these.
I will take Tim's role. I'm going to try to be like the Take a auctioneer speed here.
Go for it.
I'm just kidding. Okay. Move to approve that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $500 from the American Red Cross to support a scholarship for a graduating senior at the high school.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Approved 4-0. Next.
Move to approve that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $4,150 from the Bachelor School Parent Organization to purchase a new drop-off loop sign at the Bachelor School.
So moved.
We have a motion. Actually, yours is a second.
Okay, second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approve. All those
Pass.
opposed? All those opposed, say nay. Approved 4-0.
Okay, move to approve that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $3,185 from the EFL Little PTO to be used toward transportation for various field trips in May and June.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Approved 4-0.
Move to approve that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $360.80 from the North Reading Middle School Parents Association to purchase field trip bags for an 8th grade field trip, or for 8th grade field trips at the middle school.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved 4-0.
Move to approve that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $500 from the BPO to support the bachelor scholarship for 2 graduating seniors.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0.
This is a wow one. Move to approve that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $17,455.33 from the BPO to support the Aztec AV project at the Bachelor School.
Second.
That's cool.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0.
Okay, move to approve that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $3,433.86 from the BPO to support the cost of the construction of a new playground at the Bachelor School.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 4-0. Just to slow down for 1 second, all of these are deeply appreciated. We went quickly, more procedurally, but please know, each donation truly is appreciated. So thank you to all those that were generous, all those people and individuals that were generous enough to give. So thank you. Grants, none at this time. Overnight trip requests, none at this time. Got late in the year for all that. And social media, maybe something on the CPAC.
We're highlighting the retirements.
Yeah, retirements.
And the new principal.
Yeah, we have a few things.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds fine. The subcommittee updates. So finance planning team, I actually have something I want to bring up. A topic came up last week, last Friday, that was a good idea. In the course of this meeting, I didn't want to bring it up as a whole separate topic, but that as a part of a communication plan dealing with finance, but also just as broader topics, is that we should start an open office hours jointly with a member of the select board. I'm not sure whether we do it weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, but at some level of regular interval, probably every 2 weeks or every month, that type of thing, where we have maybe an hour-and-a-half session and we haven't got a room yet. I've got to talk to Mr. Gilberto about this, where we have a room and basically advertise and invite whoever wants to come in and have an open discussion. That we don't know whether it will be wildly popular or wildly unpopular. either way, I think it's a good opportunity. It also dovetails with one of our school committee goals about public engagement. So to me, I thought that was a really good idea. And it's something we could rotate over time. I'm happy to take the lead on all of that, and as well as work with Mr. Gilbert to set up a time and location. But anybody, thoughts, comments?
I think that's a nice idea.
Yeah.
You can
Are folks reaching out now?
I haven't gotten as much of it. Probably the select board's getting more than we are. But I personally, yes, I get occasional messages that I reply to, but it's not, and I'm sure others do as well, but I don't get lots all the time.
I think that before town meeting, people are like, oh, wait, why wasn't I
Yes.
told about this? So
Correct.
as we start to get closer to the 2 different town meetings,
Correct.
people,
Yeah.
why wasn't I able to have more information?
Yeah, like, we definitely get a lot of that.
Yeah.
And that was certainly part of the impetus of that, of like, oh, the building project that we're gonna do, that we're likely gonna go for in October, or
Yes.
if we start talking more seriously, or when we start talking more seriously about an override, those sorts of things. This is just another avenue of communication.
So in terms of cadence, it could possibly be like every other month, except the 2 months leading up
Yeah.
to town meetings or
It's
something.
up to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have an open forum every 2 weeks, right here.
Yeah, true.
That's what, yeah, it seems to be duplicating what's already there, and
I
the
don't think it hurts us, let's put it that way.
information leading up to town meeting, there were so many opportunities to educate yourself, whether it be watching something on, through the web, showing up to the 2 meetings at the select board. It just, you make choices about what you'd like to do. So I would be surprised that this would open up avenues for folks that, I feel like it's already there.
I think you're likely right. But where I think it's interesting is if we're doing it together. I think the select board certainly gathers a larger crowd than us. If we're doing it in conjunction
Broader.
with them,
Mhm.
it might elicit more questions to us, just sort of as a feeder of people just to come in. That plus, I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts us or the community, and does have an opportunity to help. So to me, it's, the cost isn't all that much, and the benefit is potentially there. So that, to me, let's put it this way, if there's no one that's objecting to doing it, I would like to move forward with Mr. Gilberto to try and come up with time and location, and then start getting this going. And certainly this isn't a mandatory thing for anybody to participate. And we can create a schedule to people's liking, but, this isn't something that's like, if you've got other commitments, I certainly travel a bit. I'm not gonna be able to do it absolutely all the time. We'll have to figure out a schedule.
I think that my hesitancy is more grounded in, if folks do come, not having the information available that they're seeking at the time, because it would be so random, and for then it to be a negative experience as opposed to gaining more information. So that's where my hesitancy.
No, it's fair.
That's an interesting point.
No, I've thought about that too.
I would probably want to consult with Patrick on something like, gosh, I'm not quite sure about that. Let me check with you, and that, that may not be
let me
helpful.
Let me just give my experience on it. Having gotten some of those questions, I do that anyway. So if someone's writing me or someone's calling me, which occasionally happens, not a lot, it's exactly the same thing. If I'm out of my depth, I'm gonna go seek additional help, and then it's incumbent on me to get back to them in a prompt way.
Yep.
And so long as I do get back to somebody, and I do, whether it's just communication or take action, that's where the positive experience, at least in my experience, has been. But it's no different than if someone randomly asking the same question anyway. So to me, regardless of of how you're communicating, I'm still going to go through the same path to answer a question. And our goal here is not to get out of our depth, and that's fine. Yes.
Just to speak to Mr. Friedman through you, as we approached the override 3 years ago, we definitely did a listening tour, and we went to different parts of town, and I would imagine if that were the case, we would do that again. I think this can work just, obviously keeping in mind open meeting law, only, no more than 2 people on the board, and just caution around when you're deliberating things that might come before the board. And I was joking a little bit before, but also, we want to make sure that people follow the correct channel, because these meetings are well advertised, open to everyone. This is the expected place where decisions are made and meeting and information is transferred. You don't want the smaller channels to be, I'm going to go to the small channel because I can really ask my question. We want that question in front of everybody. And when we had a budget hearing and one person was here, right, and nobody was online. Some people watched on TV, which is great, but they weren't engaged. They can't ask questions that, if people want to get involved, they need to engage in the civic process that we have through open meeting law.
And I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
I certainly think that is part of the communication. This is in addition to, not instead of.
Yeah.
Just one thing because we just talked about social media, this is something that maybe is something that we rotate out on social media every once in a while, like reminder that there is open comment or, session at the beginning of every school committee meeting. I don't think that's going to get any more people here. But just like that reminder, because you're right, nobody comes.
We paid good money to advertise in the paper for 2 weeks,
It's true.
One person came. That was a lot of money for.
Anyway,
we love having Mr. Simons here, but.
Anyway, I'd still like to move forward. It's not, ultimately, if it's not working, we can revisit this.
It's a pilot.
That's how I look at it. Like I said, I think cost is low, benefit is high, but that equation could change, and if so, we reevaluate. So there's no motion on that. I'm just going to proceed. We talked about a number of things at the finance planning team, a lot of which starts getting into next year's budgets. We are already starting behind in terms of the budget. Not a surprise. Certainly not incumbent on me to give the initial numbers, but it's, we're already looking at a hole. And that's something we're going to have to seriously look at going into next year about how do we fill that hole, and what will we need to do. A little too early to get into that level of specificity, but just wanted to give a brief update that's already starting to be examined. So yes, we passed one budget, we're right into the next one, and we're starting to look at it.
Very concerning number, though.
Yeah.
Assuming a 4% increase, which is very reasonably that would be the cost of level services, it's a very significant number. So.
Hooray. End on a happy note.
We had 14 days to enjoy passing the budget.
I know, exactly. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so we're we're going to keep meeting as we get more specific. We will start having budget updates here, and then we will start planning around taking action as to how we think we need to address the shortfall. Okay, athletic subcommittee met on May 19th.
I actually wasn't there.
All right, that will be a short discussion.
Sure, we covered Mr. Campobasso, who's done just a phenomenal job this year in his first year in the role as athletic and student activities leader. He's actually at both of these groups. Gave us a nice overview of our spring sports, which teams were fantastic this year. Several teams made the playoffs and won some local titles. We talked about some waivers for the upcoming school year. We talked a little bit about maintenance of the facilities at the fields. And we talked about some ideas for upcoming, we sort of had updates on all of our various projects, including resurfacing the gym in the future, and some of the timelines associated with, we had asked for, we have updates and prices on updating the track, resurfacing the track, and resurfacing the tennis courts, which are sort of down the road. Those were not funded as capital projects, but they are on the horizon, and remain on the list.
Excellent. The Fine Arts Subcommittee.
I can take that.
You want me to take it?
Well, I have my notes in front of me.
Go for it.
We talked about, it's always very varied and interesting, but just reviewing the rules around raffles and booster groups, that there is no, we can't have raffles or games of chance, things like that on school grounds. That's always been a big fundraiser with some of the fine arts not nights, but like at the plays and things like that. So just thinking of alternative ways to fundraise.
Could I just clarify?
Yes, please.
So that we will update our policies to reflect it. Booster groups can still run raffles.
Booster groups, the
Kids can't do it, and the school can't sponsor it, and the kid can't sell tickets for it. But booster groups could still do raffles.
Okay.
And we can't advertise, we can't solicit donations for it, so.
And this was a hard line to follow, but talking about just like there's a lot of scheduling conflicts and things that it's difficult with the district calendar and all the different schools' arts events, and trying to just, I think goes beyond a fine arts issue, just trying to find just the challenges of scheduling. There's always going to be a conflict. There's always going to be some night where you have a concert and then it's somebody else's concert because they have kids in two different schools. So just talked about the challenges there. Another thing we covered was the idea or the concept of a performing arts handbook, or performing arts is currently covered in the existing handbook, but there was some interest from the faculty there just having that a little bit more called out in terms of policy being clear, because we have such a robust fine arts involvement, just making sure all those policy items are clear. Another thing that came up that was also very interesting was the idea of using the space of the school for outside instrumental and vocal education lessons, like almost like having an outside person come in that would be doing, violin lessons or whatever, and all the things that would involve. But there was some discussion of maybe like a vendor like Global Child who does the
World languages.
Thank you. And something like an opportunity there. Just, I think, again, because of how many kids we have involved in arts and that they want to improve themselves, whether it's voice lessons or music lessons, some interest in doing that. And then the final thing before I had to leave a little early was just the challenge of finding an accompanist for the concerts, because it's not just Corey now, it's Fingerprints, and I didn't know that. And then it's just sometimes hard to find, I guess, a volunteer for all those wonderful concerts that we have.
It's a paid position, so because they're employees, they have to go through those other pieces. Fingerprints was only once, though.
What would I do
Or
without
is every
you
3
to
years.
correct me?
A lot of Berkeley students who are looking for opportunities.
Yeah, direct them to our website. No, we have the people there, and then we also, at the very end, talked about some new positions and the process for those new positions, including a 6th grade a cappella and some other positions too. So.
Awesome.
Ann Brown, the Associate Dean of Students at Berkeley, would be happy to work with us on that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Excellent.
Very thorough notes.
I know, that was great.
So one thing I can do is take notes on that. It's just like there's so many ideas. We have so many vibrant folks on that committee.
It's a great group too.
Soon we'll have AI do the note-taking. What are you gonna do?
I downloaded Granola, so I technically don't have to do anything, but I don't know if that falls under the acceptable policy.
Yeah, no, probably not.
So I have to.
Don't enroll.
Type.
Okay, for the subcommittee schedule, the finance planning team's planning is meeting on July 10th, 8 in the morning.
I believe that's correct, Mr. Friedman. I
Yep,
will
that's what it was.
check with you, yeah.
I expect that will be remote, because I will not
Yes.
be in town for that.
Most likely, yeah.
Administrative report, none at this
None at
time.
this time.
Correspondence, none at this time. Future business. I referenced it before, we're gonna have a meeting on July 20th. That's gonna be a virtual meeting. We'll go through the goals, including superintendent and school committee.
Just to double check, I believe we had said to start earlier at 5 PM, is that correct?
Yep.
Sound right to everyone? Okay.
I had 4:30, is it 5?
I knew it was earlier, I didn't remember.
We can go for whatever you would like.
It doesn't matter to me.
4:30 better?
No, it doesn't matter. I just had it in as 4:30.
What would people like to do?
5's fine. 5 works.
Yeah, 5's fine with me.
Yeah.
August 31st, we will have our school committee goals workshop.
That's at 4:30.
Oh, that's, okay, yes.
That's always an exciting one. That will be in the superintendent conference room.
It's 4 days after my birthday, so you can bring cake, gifts,
Cupcakes?
champagne. You want
Absolutely.
Champagne.
How can you have cake without it?
Wow.
Like,
That's it, nothing harder.
In school.
All right. Followed by a regular meeting at 6:30. We don't know who our student rep will be, although tonight was very nice. And then we've got the opening school update for the September 14th meeting. There you go. And that is about it. First day of school is what, the 9th for students? 8th.
Yeah, Tuesday.
When do I have to give a speech?
That would be the first.
Oh, good, thanks. That's great. Okay, that pretty much takes us through it. If we can get a motion to adjourn.
can I bring something up, just to bring it up?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer. I don't have it. I hope in a future meeting, we can have a discussion about safety regarding motorized bikes.
On school property or just generally?
In North Reading, I just don't want anyone to get hurt.
No, I'm fine with it.
Is really where it comes from, and I don't think I'm alone in that. And I know for myself, I don't know a lot about it. I do have some confusion about what's motorized, what's a motorcycle, what's a car, with license and all the things. But at the end of all of it, I just want to make sure that all of our children are safe, and especially going to school in the mornings. And so I would feel remiss if I didn't say something, because it just, I don't mean to be all Hillary Clinton about it, but it takes a village for us to look out for everybody. And I would just, I don't know if that belongs here, if that belongs with select board, but I'm just concerned. Yeah, just want to keep them all safe.
I think that's a great concern. I see it all over town. I will say, the school grounds is the one place where I feel kids are a little bit better off, because they are you're around parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people are paying attention. I certainly see the motorized things arriving here and there, and I know they probably do things that drive you crazy, like cut across morning traffic and things like that. But I don't disagree with you at all. I'd say of all the places where I feel like these kids are the safest is probably school grounds, because the policies are always being
Yeah, but they have to
revisited.
get here and get home.
But, yeah, no, exactly. I'm not saying.
That is more of
But
the
where
issue.
where do we?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do
I
we
don't
bring it
know
up
how
to
we
the
fit it.
school, to the select board?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, I think it's fair to have a topic. Maybe we could have a presentation here and just discuss it. I think it's more of an administrative rule. I'm not sure which policies it would fit under, but possibly. But it's a worthy topic, and then maybe to see where it fits.
We put it in with the sex ed.
Yeah.
Put it all in.
Cell phones, bikes.
All the things that can hurt you.
Yeah.
sure.
No,
All
I
right,
think it's a
that's
good
an
concern,
interesting
but
way to
yeah, I don't
think
know
about
where
it.
to put it.
Yeah, I think it's probably a joint topic between what happens on school grounds and the policies we have, along with, so I think it's both groups, to be honest. Because once you cross over the line, then it hits us, or it's much more on the town side. So I don't think it's either or. I think it's probably an and to some degree.
Sure.
I don't know exactly what, but I
Sure.
think there's a joint element to it.
And where we have limited sidewalks, and the ones we do have are very busy, which is good. We have a very active community, but
That would definitely be on the select board side of
Yeah.
like.
He's like, done, it's the select board.
Yeah, that one's the select board.
I just
But,
worried about safety.
To that end, I'm happy to shoot a note over to Rich saying that that's something that came up and, might be a topic for select board as well.
Sure.
So, maybe we do a presentation on it, but I can shoot a note over to Rich on that side too. Anything else, or motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Approved 4-0. Thanks.